came in, you mentioned it was cold. I keep the room freezing cold. They hate it.
I like it.
I like it too because I feel like it keeps me sharp and slightly uncomfortable, which is where I perform best. If I get comfortable, then I'm slower.
No, look, I love it. If you walk on my bus on the road, it is. I mean, you could hang meat in there.
Why do you keep it cold?
I sleep better.
It's 63 in our bedroom.
Have you ever heard of this thing called the chili pad?
Is it under your bed?
Yeah, it's like this thing that lays under the mattress. Not under the mattress.
Can it be warm too? Because my wife was going to buy one to make it warm because I freeze her out.
But it straps onto the mattress and you put all this stuff over it and you can dial it down to it and you don't have to put it on their side.
Got it.
Your side is
one
really,
side.
Anyway.
Luckily, I have a sleep number. Mine does that automatically. But chili pad, we looked at that for like our.
Oh, it's incredible.
It makes me want to eat chili though. That's a problem.
Chili pad.
Like I think my consumption of Frito pies would go up if I had the chili pad.
Yeah.
Because I would just always be thinking about chili. Did you ever do David Letterman when he was on? That studio was freezing cold for the same reason. Do you remember it being cold when you were there?
It was cold. Yeah, it was really cold.
Like almost.
The only thing I remember about I did Letterman like 2 or 3 times, and the last time I was there, I had my greatest. Thank God that I had a Greatest Hits 2 album out. Right, and he introduced me. I swear to God, he goes, "Here's Kenny Chesney with his Greatest Hits 11."
Oh, Roman numeral 2.
It was Roman numeral 2. That's funny.
Who has 11 Greatest Hits records?
That's funny.
So that's what he said. That's
you and the
he
Eagles, man.
Me.
That's it.
Yeah.
Dude, 11 Greatest Hits. We were talking, and I'm going to ask you a mentor question in a second.
Okay.
I read a story about somebody, and they were like, my mentor is this person. And I was like, well, I know the person really well that he's saying is their mentor, and that's not true. I didn't even know him. I didn't say who it was. But I was like, let's all invent a fake mentor. And my fake mentor is David Letterman. I don't know him, never met him, but it's like I'm a hero. So who is your real mentor that you could have called at age 27? You could have called at age 41.
Well, that would be one of my manager. Well, my manager, Dale Morris, is a mentor.
Sure. He find you way early?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's great about mentors is that, if we had to learn, I mean, mentors are really important in everybody's lives. If you had to learn your own life's lessons, it's hard. But if you can learn through the lessons of someone else, it makes it a little easier in life, So I would say Dale, Joe Galante, who was my record label president for a long time, and then I've got my, the people that I look up to, that are songwriters and.
Who artistically did you look up to? And even if you didn't know them really well, creatively, you're like, man, what they do is so amazing.
Well, I was always drawn to the people that wrote their songs and went out and performed them, like Bruce Springsteen, like Jimmy Buffett. So many people that just, as a kid, what's crazy though, as a kid growing up in East Tennessee, I didn't know the genius of that. I was playing sports, and I heard Alabama on the radio, and I heard, everything they played on WIVK in Knoxville, Tennessee. And that's the music I grew up on because that's the music my mom listened to all the time. But once I started writing songs and I discovered the genius of all these people that I now call my heroes / a little bit of friends, it opened up a whole new world to me.
Because once you started doing it, you started to see how hard it was.
That's right.
And until you get in the mix, it's hard to actually see how it's being made.
Yeah. And so for me, I when I first started this, I moved to town, several years ago, and was signed by Acuff Rose, which is now Sony. Sony bought Acuff Rose years ago, and that's all I thought I was going to do. I had no idea that I was going to go out on the road, and I hoped I would. But I was so in love with the thought of creating and giving the world something that didn't exist yesterday, right? And so that's what really got me excited to get up every day. And so then it turned into this, which is it's the audience we built out there is really beautiful. But when I first came to town, I didn't know this existed.
It's you're known for your audience, obviously for all 11 Greatest Hits albums, but also because all reality, you have 35 number one songs, and that's not even including all the songs that were even bigger than some of the number ones that the chart didn't even recognize as a number one, right? So,
right, yeah.
And you have this massive community, bigger than anything that I've seen in our format. There are people like Fish or Grateful Dead, Chesney. You can go through those groups, and you would know kind of what the vibe is by the culture
Yeah.
that is spread around the country. Now, my point with all this is it's even shown in TV shows. There was that show where it was the psycho killer. Steve Carell was in it. And
Yeah.
and the killer would like go to Kenny Chesney. Like he had
the therapist.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He had a crew and they all loved each other. And he was like, we go to Chesney shows.
Right.
How amazing and weird that it crosses over into pop culture, that you see the culture you've built, but through it like a fictional part of
It's
the
crazy. I mean, it really is. And look, Bobby, to be up there on stage and see the faces of people that listen to this music and want to come, obviously experience the songs, but just experience the experience of being there. That is, we didn't wake up and just it be that way. You know, it was built over the years, and it's crazy to see. I mean, I had so many people call me about that show.
The Patient is what it's called.
The Patient.
Yeah.
That's right. And I had so many people call me. I haven't seen it yet.
But it was complimentary to you.
Very complimentary.
Yeah, it wasn't like you were killing people.
No.
It was like he enjoyed
But my music was the thread of them killing people. But it was weird to be watching that show and them talking about you and saying your name and and listening. You know, the guys are in that room, in a dark room, listening to "I Go Back." It was really weird.
And what they were showing, though, and not even in a psychotic way, was, again, the culture that you've built at your shows, where everybody just loves each other and they all look out and they travel together. That was kind of the warmness of that weird show, was your music.
It was the balance of the darkness.
And it's got to be crazy to be just a dude like you.
Yeah.
Obviously, some people look at you in a lot of different ways. Kenny, the great singer, but you're a dude. And to know that what you've done has crossed over into such mainstream and what you've built.
It's something that you don't dream of, honestly. But I was flattered that it has, but Bobby, I don't think about that. I mean, I get up every day and try to create and try to be the best person I can and grow our audience. But I think one of the things that has helped do that is over the years, year after year, people come to the shows and they realize that it's a safe place from
psycho killers.
That and just negativity.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Nobody's gonna. I don't use my platform or my stage to impose my thinking. When you come to our shows, you're not going to be told what to think. You're not going to be told how to vote. You're safe from all that, because you get all that negativity and try to be manipulated everywhere else in the world, especially if you watch enough TV. So I would like to think that's where that started.
Who was the person that was like, Kenny, we need to do flags? Because the flags, they're now everywhere, but that's also something that's kind of weird if you don't know people are going to use it to sell flags. Or like, who was, maybe it was you, like, we need to do flags for boats or flags for whatever it is.
Well, it started with boats because I've spent a lot of my adult life on a boat, and that's where it started. And then it was my merch guys, Tim and Daryl. I've got 3 or 4 guys that are out on the road with me. One's my road manager, David, and he runs my rum company. And then Tim and Daryl run my merch company. We all went to high school together. And so
that's crazy.
It's crazy. Really, and college roommates. And so, that they know exactly the button to push to bring, Kenny's ego down a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, they've been with me forever. So, but it was their idea initially. Well, my idea for the boat flags, and they went, no, we got to do more than boat flags. We got to have them everywhere. So that was several years ago.
And it is now. It's just normal because it's the culture of your artistry, the live experience, the music. Like, it's been a really cool thing. But like you said, it wasn't built overnight.
No, I mean, it was not built overnight.
Which to me, and we were talking about the new record before you got here, but the record's called Born. When you name a record something, and you name it Born, there's also a thought of, well, the name of this also needs to represent who I am now and the music.
Yeah.
Why Born? It's your 20th record.
Right.
Do you feel reborn?
In a way, like new music brings new energy, and I felt like that when I first heard this song, it's just a reminder that although we're all very different, we're all in ways at our core still the same. We all dream. We all love our loved ones. We all want to be loved. And in the middle of it, we want to, for me anyway, when I heard this song, there's a line in it specifically that says, what does life and love and truth all mean? Are we making it harder than it has to be? Am I making it harder than it has to be? And I am very guilty of that. I'm in a place in my life where
Just
I'm
overcomplicating
trying
crap?
to, well, yeah, I've got we all have if you this voice in our head that we all talk to every day is unnecessary sometimes, and I do that a lot. And sometimes I do think I'm making it harder than it has to be, and that's why that song stuck out to me so much, and just energetically and melodically and the nature of how we cut it. I just felt like that was a great way in the sequence of the record to start it, and it was a good thing to say to our audience, So I'm looking forward to doing that this summer.
You're going back out. It's the Sun Goes Down 2024 tour, and man, what a show! It's Zach Brown Band, Megan Maroney, Uncle Cracker.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun summer.
I mean, even if you weren't there, that'd be a good show.
Right.
With you there, it's all. I mean, it's
well,
it's,
but Zach doesn't have to do it, but he is.
Yeah.
Which is great. I couldn't believe that he said yes. But and then I've met Megan once, and I think what she's building her own beautiful audience.
Man, a songwriter to the core too.
Yeah. And then Uncle Cracker, when we put out When the Sun Goes Down several years ago, we'd met each other just once, and here's this guy from Detroit and me from East Tennessee, and to think that we would be life friends after that song, I would have never have guessed it.
Are you guys still buddies?
Yeah, gosh, I mean we're such good friends, and have him back out there. I mean we just did it because his music's great, but look, the fun factor goes way up, and the joke factor. I mean we laugh so much. And I need that out on the road. I do. I just can't sit on the bus all day and watch direct TV.
I need that here.
Yeah.
I'm not really getting it all the time, guys. I need
We're
a
trying.
shoulder, I
We're
need
trying.
more
Vince.
laughs.
Okay.
We laugh it.
Yeah, you
try
think?
to everything.
I want to laugh though. I have to be the funny one all the time.
Oh, okay.
KennyChesney.com to see all the dates. And so, you're the guy that I associate with doing stadiums, like the country artist that who does stadiums? Freaking Kenny has forever. Like, to me, you're that guy. And you've done stadiums forever. And I think even like where the Patriots play. Like, I even have places that I really associate you with playing.
Yeah.
I don't know why those New England dates feel like maybe there were just so many stories that came from those, from friends that went up or even you coming in here. But stadiums versus arenas, how do you have to perform differently based on the venue of a stadium? Open air, outside, massive most of the time. An arena is still massive, but inside, like a basketball arena, and people are closer.
Well, last year, by design, I went and did small market arenas, and Kelsey Ballerini went out with me, and that was a blast. But it is different. I mean, just with a stadium, I've learned. It took me a couple of years actually, Bobby, because I was, although me and my crew loved the fact that we were doing it, I hadn't wrapped my arms around what it took of me emotionally and mentally to do it. By the third year of doing it, I felt like I had it down, but that's when I started going to the top of the stadium on Friday night after sound check to visually and emotionally and mentally measure how far I had to go. Because I know what it looks like down on the stage up to the top row, but I wanted to get a different perspective. So that helped me a lot. It really did. And, it's just this would be our, I don't know. I think the first year we did football stadiums was in 2005, and we did 3. We did Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and New England.
2005, you say?
I think 2005.
Man, that's a long.
And then
this,
and then the next year we did a bunch of them, and then here we are. And
do you have so many cool sports relationships because of
so many?
That to me is the coolest thing.
It is unbelievable. I mean, I have more friends in sports than I have in music, honestly. And if you come to our show at any one of the stadium shows, you're going to see more sports people there outside the bus than you will music people.
Probably because that's cooler for you too, right? I mean, listen, we're around music people all the time.
Well,
Those are normal peers
not my
and
music friends are busy.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, like, look.
Who's your coolest sports friend that when you were 20, you could be 13, I don't care, or even 28, 30, that you're like, man, that's cool to watch them on TV, but now they're your buddy?
Oh, well, I mean, there's so many. Like, when we put out the Boys of Fall song, and ESPN asked us to make the Boys of Fall film, they paid for me to go around and talk to all my heroes.
That's the cool.
And all of a sudden, I was in the living room of John Madden, and I was in the living room of Brett Favre, and I was in the living room of Nick Saban. So many people, and when we were done recording and shooting, we had dinner at their house. It was crazy.
That's great.
And so after that, so many sports people started coming to the shows, and so that's where, I mean, I was friends with sports people before, but there's one thing that I've always, that I know now for sure, sports people really want to be a music person. and a music person would give anything to
Yeah.
be a sports person. So there's this mutual respect, and so yeah, that's where it started.
Coolest athlete or coach to come out and sing or be a part of your show, to jump out and just do a
Oh,
fun
so
song?
many. I mean, like
Who comes to mind first? Not too bad. Just who comes to mind?
Andy
when I say
Reid, but Andy Reid, the coach of the Chiefs now, but he came out when he was coach for the
Eagles?
Philadelphia Eagles,
Yeah.
and he brought out an Eagles helmet, and I got a small head, and I've got my my straw cowboy hat, that fits on there pretty good, and he came out and he brought an Eagles helmet and doing this fly Eagles fly thing. Well, I took the helmet from him and took my hat off and put the helmet on me, and I put my hat on his head, and it wouldn't even fit on his head. It's like he's got such a big head. Place went crazy.
I'm looking at the picture because he's in like a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
And the helmet is like consumed your head and it's moving. That's super cool.
But for them, they get so excited to come up and, we played Lambeau Field. The last time we played Lambeau Field was in 2015, I think, and Mike McCarthy was still coach. The Cowboys coach now was actually still coach for the Packers at the time, and they had just won the Super Bowl. And he brought the Lombardi Trophy out on stage, and I swear to God, you could feel the foundation of Lambeau Field shake. It was so loud.
The crowd was going
It was
so
so loud. I mean, it was one of the most amazing experiences. So, when you're up there singing a song about their life and validating their life journey with a song like "Boys Will Fall," I mean, it's just wonderful.
I want to play another song from the new album. This is Guilty Pleasure. So you wrote this song?
I did.
Yeah, and did you feel more of a priority to write, or were you just more interested in writing? Like, why this record, was it more than the past? It seems like a bit more.
It took I wrote 4 or 5 songs on this record. Although I've never been the kind of artist that said, okay, I've got to write every song. Man, if I had that mentality, I wouldn't have recorded You and Tequila or No Shoes or a lot. But it took 3 years to make this record. So
why? But why?
Well, one of the reasons is you don't want to repeat yourself. And at this point, when people send you songs, maybe 10 years ago I would have recorded that song, but I've already said that. So it just took a minute. And then as far as Guilty Pleasure, I wrote that song with Ross Copperman, Josh Osborne, and Shane McAnally. And that's the last song I wrote for the record. And I just think it was just a dive into human behavior, and it lets each person off the hook, if you will, and just letting whatever the relationship is, just let it be that without too much pressure, and so that's where that song came from.
Just a few more questions. We have Kenny Chesney here with us. New record's out today called Born. We're talking to Hardy, and he's one of the writers on your single Now Take Her Home. So Hardy's one of these guys that writes so many songs. He's so good. And there are other good writers on this too, but is he one of the guys too that will you ever hit a guy up like Hardy and be like, hey, what do you have? Or will he come to you and be like, I have something that you may like?
Well, that's what happened with Take Her Home. I got an email from him, and I'd never really hung out with him much. Our paths hadn't crossed that much, but I got an email from him saying, me and the guys wrote a song yesterday, and we had you in mind. We think this is something for you. And I listened to it, and I went, yeah, you're right. And that's really cool when that happens, because 9 times out of 10 you go, nah, maybe not. But when I heard that, I mean, he's such a great songwriter, and just when I hear some of his songs, they just seem smarter. They're just a little smarter. I may not like all of them, but they're smarter than some. So that's why this song, speaking of human behavior and just life in general, this song, that's why it meant a lot to me. And it's just melodically, I just fell in love with it.
What is your favorite hit that you could have recorded 15 years ago that you've played it a bunch and you kind of like, man, I'm tired of it, but now it's back and it's awesome again, and there's like a rejuvenated feeling about playing this hit again?
I got really, over the years, I got really tired of playing Big Star. And we didn't do it for a long time. And then one night we did it, and the good stuff. We did good stuff last year, and we hadn't done it in 10 years for some reason. And we did it last year. Those 2 songs we did last year, and I went, wow, it has new energy now. New people listening to it, so it's It's putting your show together now is, we're in the process of doing that because, we start soon in Tampa. We open at the Buccaneers football stadium in Tampa on April 20th. And we're in the process now of trying to make it, to give the audience, okay, well, we know they want to hear these, but what's going to
make you feel good as
make
well.
us feel like we're not just repeating the same thing. And
Because
so
you'll do a better show if you feel good.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but those two songs last year we did, and we hadn't done them in a while, and they sounded great. They felt good to us.
When I think of Big Star, I think of the live version with you and Taylor.
Yeah, that was on my birthday. I don't know, what was it? 2015. We opened at the arena in Nashville, and she showed up on my birthday as a birthday gift and sang Big Star with me. Place went nuts. And she pulled some little girl up, and that girl, that girl was bawling that Taylor did it, and so I'm so, look, I don't have enough adjectives to describe Taylor. She's just absolutely great, and so.
What about me? How many adjectives do you have?
I got a lot of adjectives.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, you can run. Final question before the final question. Do you do ice baths every day?
When I'm on the road, I do them every day. I'm starting to do them almost every day now, but I've got my whole setup on the road and at home. I do about 15 minutes in the sauna. I'm working my way up to 3 minutes in the ice.
In the ice. I was gonna say in the sauna, no problem. In the ice, that sucks.
Yeah, you do heat ice, and I do that 3 rounds. And if I'm bored, I'll go another 4 rounds. But what I should do, which I don't, is after my show, because I run around and jump around so much on stage, I should do the ice right after my show. But I don't. I usually wait till the next day, and by then your
inflammation's
back.
Yeah. Do you ever weigh yourself before and after a show just to see?
No, I've had people.
ACDC guy would lose. Angus would lose like 15 pounds.
I've had so many people ask me to do that because it's just I just move. I can't help it when you have the band.
Even now, he's running around the studio right now. You guys can't see it. But
right, you can't see it. But I've lost 5 pounds in here.
Yes.
No, but I'm going to do that one day. I've got one of these My Zone belts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
What's that?
It's a
track and
it tracks everything. It goes right here on your.
Us athletes use them.
I'm picturing like a heart rate monitor from back in the day.
Yeah, but it tells you how many calories you burn, how many steps, whatever, and then when you get back into a Wi-Fi area, it'll download all the information, and you can see what happened.
And they steal your identity.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That hot cold therapy, though, so many doctors say that's the key to your biological age and bringing that down.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It decreases stress and it decreases inflammation.
Stress leads to aging. So, your internal. But also, I feel like you've done a really good job just even. You don't seem to have aged in all these years. What else do you do?
How do you get so much sun and not look like someone who had a bunch of sun?
No, I just went to I went to the doctor the other day just because I felt it was time to get my skin checked.
Dermatologist?
Yeah. And she goes, "You look great." Oh. I went, "Okay, great." I've been in the sun my whole life. I got that from my mother. We have been in the sun our whole lives. And so I don't know. Maybe one day it'll rear its head, but it hasn't so far. But thank you for saying that. I my diet is really strict. Especially,
all the time, or when you're doing
not
it, you're
all
going
the time.
back into it?
Like after Foxborough, it'll be football season, and I'll
speaking of guilty pleasure, what's yours? Not about the song, not but like food or something.
Yeah, she means, yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
Food, I like, I grew up in the country, and we're all, my whole family is emotional eaters, so I like country cooking. But then again, I love Italian. I love red wine, and I went to Italy several times, and it spoiled me. I love that food, so that's my guilty pleasure. But I don't eat or drink that much like that until after the tour's over, and then during football season, I eat and drink what I want, and it's a long football season. So I got to get ready to go. Every year around Christmas and January 1st, I go, okay, my God, April is coming, and so I gotta turn that switch off and become this other person.
All right, final question, and it'll lead to a little thing here. But the new record's out today. Kenny Chesney, Born, the tour, which you guys can go to kennychesney.com. You can see all the dates there. I encourage you to go. It's such a great show. And after you answer it, it will lead to an action. But do you have any really cool signed sports memorabilia from any of your favorite people?
I do.
What is your favorite 1 or 2 things that you have?
Well, I've got, like I said, I got John Madden, Bobby Bowden, Nick Saban, Peyton Manning, Devils. These are all signed football helmets like you got. And, I mean, I got so many. I had more, but when I lived out west of town, what year was it that the big flood happened?
2010?
10-ish. Right, yeah. So I built this huge gym, and all it was, I mean, it was a huge gym to work out and train, but all 4 walls was like a trophy case of just sports memorabilia. I mean, it was so many people over the years. And the flood took all of it. So I had to replenish.
If they said we have to give everything away except one thing, though, what's the one piece of memorabilia that you have that you would keep?
I have a Patriots helmet signed by Brady and Belichick, and it says all the Super Bowls they won together. I'd probably keep that more than anything. I mean, probably.
We obviously raised a bunch of money for St. Jude. And I want to show you these. These are $7.
Okay.
So I have 4 of these.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind signing them.
I'd love to.
And so, but 3 of them just sign normally, but we have an appraiser that comes on, because I'm a big memorabilia guy myself, and she comes on, and because I have a helmet that's John Elway and Peyton Manning, they're both Super Bowl champs, and I said, how much could I get for this? And she's like, $15,000, and I'm like, that's cool. She goes, it's worth more because you or somebody of notoriety owned it before you sold it. So we want to have you sign 3 regular, and then sign one that says, Bobby, never sell this on the black market. Then we're going to sell it and see if it goes for more and give that money to St. Jude. Yeah. So we'll pass you the marker while I do talk about your record. There's one.
All right.
And if somebody can help him, because I can't bend over. My back is killing me.
So you want
just sign Kenny Chesney, draw, sell about whatever you want, and that's it. On 3 of them, very easy. And on the 4th, as our item, our experiment to Bobby, don't sell this on the black market.
Hilarious.
And then we'll see if it goes for more, because I owned it, which I don't think it will.
Okay.
And we're going to give all the money to St. Jude.
There's one.
There's one. All right, so everybody out there, listen, Kenny Chesney, he's got 35 number ones. He's got 11 greatest hits albums, which we learned earlier.
That's a true story.
That's a true story, yeah.
He said, ladies and gentlemen, here with his greatest hits 11.
11, that's funny. The new single is Take Her Home, which we're going to play in just a second. This is the 20th album, the studio album, because he's got other records too, like live records. But Born is the name of the record, and I hope you guys check it out and you go see Kenny on the road.
That Guilty Pleasure song is so good, it's still in my head.
Thank you.
And all we did was play a little
you
tiny bit of it.
You keep
bringing
it
up.
You keep bringing it up.
It's
What do you want to
so
say?
good.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? What's your guilty pleasure?
It's
Okay, all guys.
See, this
Turn
is
the lights down.
no,
We're going to get out of here.
the song.
Bobby, she's red.
Yeah. No, she is. A minute ago, she goes, oh, man, you got the pleasure. Not like
Whatever.
that.
Her face is the color of her pants.
Yes.
Yes. Pink.
Kenny, thank you for the time.
Man, thank you for the time.
Congratulations on
Thank
everything.
you for having me, and everybody will see this summer.
Yeah,
It's
here it
gonna
is.
be
Kenny
blessed.
Chesney, everybody. All right.
It's a Bobby Bones show.